trying to get all the lights so you can actually see me. Now I can't see anything because my eyeballs have just gone. Let's get on with the video. Hello my little ginger snaps. I haven't done that in a while. So it's been like 4 months since my last video and I didn't even finish Vlogmas. I was planning on doing like a breakdown video of history during the Easter holidays, which is now, but I kind of accidentally spent like 4 or 5 days just watching Netflix instead of doing revision, so I'm not at a point where I can put onto others my knowledge because I haven't even got the knowledge myself yet, so that's good. But I thought I promised you guys a video, so I might as well film one. So instead of doing like a breakdown revision video, I'm just gonna give you my sort of, this is the 3rd time I've done this video now, but it changes kind of every time anyway, so it gets a bit shorter every time as well, I'm pretty sure. I blabber on so much. So basically a revision tips video, but I've got 6 tips that are basically things you need to stick by, especially like at this point now that you're screwed like me because you keep just watching Netflix instead of doing your exam revision and you want to just die. Oh, that was a funny noise from my stomach. So the first thing I want to say about revision, which is literally like an absolute godsend, are revision guides. So this brand of revision guide, I don't know if you can see it, let me just, yeah, My Revision Notes, that's, oh my god, my stomach, it's literally such a good revision guide. Oops. Because like, especially for history, why do I say like all the time? They've got exam style questions and like, and sources and stuff that you can read through and like, why do I keep saying like, oh my god. Basically they have the exam style questions in the book so you can do a practice answer kind of thing, so you can practice like, I'm really conscious of myself saying like now and it's really irritating me. And help apply your knowledge to what would happen in the exam. 7 tips, I just remembered another one, I'm just going to write it down so I don't forget. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so revision guides are really good, but I would say don't rely solely on the revision guide and use your textbooks as well. So I made a timeline the other day. That nearly went in my drink. I nearly dropped a magnet in my drink. I'm going to redo this because obviously I was expecting more dates, but there wasn't that many. And I genuinely used this and 2 textbooks just to get those dates, just to make sure that it was in detail and I can then try and remember as many as possible. So don't rely solely on the revision guide unless you have to. AKA you are an EdXL A2 student who EdXL just decided not to produce a book for you. Woo! We love life. And then the next thing, which is like really helpful, which I actually got from Bennett, so props to Eve, I'll link her down below, even though she doesn't even know who I am, but YOLO. Essentially, I watched her one of her revision videos the other day and she was like, before I made my timetable, which I haven't done this year because I just don't ever tend to stick to them, so I've done something slightly different, which I'll show you in a minute. But she was saying how before she made her timetable, she did a checklist of everything she needed to do. So I sort of expanded upon that idea and I did an A3 sheet of each one, of like each exam. So if I just go up close on, say this one, and let's go on this one here. That one's probably the neatest one. So this one's my drama one. So I've got a drama English paper, if that makes sense. So that's the first English paper I've got. And then obviously I've got all the different things I need to do, and you can see I've done 2 of them there, got them 2 context ones. And then I've got the exam date as like the deadline. So you can see, if I move back for you, sorry about this shoddy camera. Oh my god, it nearly fell over my bed. You can see there, excuse the TV wires, that I've got them in exam date order. And it's just really satisfying to be able to tick the box off when you've like done it, and then eventually I'll have all the boxes ticked and I'll just be like, oh, my stomach won't stop making these stupid noises. Next tip is something I've done this year, which I didn't even make a plan or a timetable or anything last year for revision really. I don't really know what I did. I think I just sort of revised when it came to it. I can't remember, to be quite honest with you. But essentially, I've made a revision plan, which I haven't stuck to at the moment, but I'm planning on it, lol. I'm gonna catch up at some point and then hopefully I'll get it all done. This is gonna be such shaky camera work, I can't even hold my hand straight. So essentially you've got this column here, which is just the weeks, and then you can kind of see what I meant now by the little subjects going down. So for history, for example, I've got to finish Henry VII by the 26th of March, which I did not do, and etc, etc. And then I've also put my exams in when they are, and then obviously it's grey after that because I don't need to do anything else for that topic and that'll be done. But it's also quite scary, and yeah, as you can see, I'm not really up to date with it. You put it in weekly, like you put the week beginning in down the y-axis. Right, back in the game. Sauce. Mum just walked in and distracted me. So you put the week commencing down the y-axis, and then the topics / subjects / exams across the y-axis, and then you break down all your revision into weeks. So like from each topic, which week, what part of each topic needs to be done by the end of that week commencing. And next thing, flashcards are one of the best things you can imagine in life ever. Just, they're so helpful, and there's so many different ways you can use them. I've got 5 different ways here that you can use them. So, oh, that's different. One of the ways is kind of like a snap revision task. So like here I've got Terje, and he was I've told you guys this before about my little picture thing. He was a physiocrat who believes in the free economy. That's why there's a little brain, just because knowledge, and like a pound sign, even though it's in France. And then he had an interest in law. That's why it's a heart, and it's called a gavel, the little hammer they have in court. But basically, he's a finance minister during 1774 1776. That's why it says that on the front. And then on the back, it's just got everything he just did in general on the back. You can just do like a quick summary of whatever topic it is on the back of the flashcard. And just for me, I find that, oh, I got a message. It's just like a quick, like literally like just a quick revision. So once you've got all the knowledge there, and you pretty much, it's just like a refresher. That's the word I was looking for, a refresher. And it's like quick fire. You can just like Terje, right, he did the 6 edicts, blah 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 blah, and it just makes it a lot more quick fire and a lot easier to do than having to like read through my map and stuff. And you can do it with different people, and yeah, it's a nice way to just summarize everything, because obviously you've only got a limited amount of space, so you can't write too much. What's next? Oh, and you can also do it for like key cases or key events and things like that. So I'm doing politics, so we have key cases in the American side of politics, because we do the Supreme Court and affirmative action. So I've got blue and pink cards here, and the pink cards are for amendments after the Bill of Rights, and then the blue cards are for amendments in the Bill of Rights. And then essentially I've got the name of the case and the year in like just like on the centre of the card, because obviously I need to know that. So Miranda versus Arizona, 1966. And then I've got to try and remember which court it was, so that's the Warren Court, which I've just written in the top here. And then on the back, as you can see, I've got like a little thing just saying which amendment it upholds or doesn't uphold in some cases. Essentially, the Miranda rights, just as what they're called now, is, you know how if you watch like a cop show and like, you have the right to remain silent, anything you do say may and can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, you'll be provided with one. I've remembered that because I did a quiz the other day on Sporkle and you had to like fill it in. But the Miranda rights, which comes from the Miranda versus Arizona case, essentially just says you need those rights read to you because otherwise you could accidentally self-incriminate yourself. Self-incriminate yourself? Does that make sense? Who knows? I feel like this video has gone on way too long already, but I can't tell because I stopped it and started it again when Mum walked in. But yeah, that's just a nice way to sort of try and remember a lot of knowledge in one, but because it's like case by case, it might be a bit easier to remember rather than doing it all on one big sheet. And then obviously you've got your classic keywords, which is just a classic, and then you've also got your key dates one. So here I've got 1512, you can't even see it, I don't know why I'm trying to show you, this too dark, and oh no, 1512 foreign policy, and it's really good for dates and things because you can just, it just is, okay, just believe me. You do all of them on flashcards for like a massive timeline, but you can actually like just put them down like one way and try and order them and then see if you get them in the right way. And another one of my things is a timeline. So the best timeline that I've made, obviously I did the Ancien Regime one, but the best one that I've done so far is this foreign policy one for Elizabeth. So essentially what I'm doing, because I think I saw it on, I'm pretty sure it was a Jack Edwards video, I'm not really sure, and he was like, do timelines, but like do like breakdown timelines and then like a full timeline. So I was like, okay, fair enough. So I tried it. So this is just foreign policy, this massive A3 sheet. And then you can see I've got like yellow post-its on there. And that's just essentially because there's some little things I'm a bit like, I don't know what that is. So I didn't want to write it on there because I want to know it in the long term. But obviously I need to know it. So I put it on there in a little post-it note just so I can learn it in the meantime. And then once I've got it, it's all good. But yeah, so like sort of miniature timelines, I guess you could call them. They're really helpful for obviously history. You do like breakdown in like miniature ones and potentially do a full timeline as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do a full timeline because obviously with the like miniature timelines, like subject timelines or whatever you want to call them, already being on a sheet, I don't want to have to write them all out again just to transfer them onto one big sheet when I can just look at, like maybe stick them all together or something and have like an extra long timeline, or just put them in the same folder. Which this timeline just reminded me another really good point. These type of folders are really good for like revision because I think they're called display wallets or something like that, because you can just put all of your like revision notes and mind maps and things in them, and you don't have to worry about hole punching or anything, so it still looks pretty, and it just means you have to like keep your notes quite short, and it just helps, and you can see them all as well, so that's good. Summary sheets or mind maps I wanted to point out next. So I think you probably just saw a summary sheet. It's actually a couple of sheets, but that was for Edward, I believe. Yeah, no, this is Mary, sorry. So if you look here, I've got, I think it's maybe, it starts here, 4 pages maybe a few more. Yeah, 3 pages just on Mary the First, because obviously that's quite a short subject anyway, but it just summarises like all of Mary. It's not in much detail, but it's quite nice to have just so you can have it really. It's just to refer back to if you're like, oh, what was this or whatever. And I've also got one here for my first UK politics topic, and I kind of realised when I got to this bit that was all I had left, so I made sure I wrote it all small on this side, and then I was like, oh wait. So I've done that for that, which is really helpful, and I've also got lots of little A4 summary sheets which go into a bit more detail of that, which I made for our mocks, I think, just after Christmas. Yeah. And then I've also got one here for all my context notes for Streetcar. And then after I made this mind map, I made it into flashcards which relate it to the play. So that just helps you again to get in the mindset of exams. That's the word. And my next thing I'm really excited about. So you can make like a card match sort of thing. So essentially you say like, I've got article 4 there and then a description of article 5. So that's not really a good example, but you just basically put them all flat on the table like this, and I'll show you how that works. I haven't got all of these out, but essentially you can either do it so they're all already yeah, I haven't got all of them out. That's not very helpful. But you can either do it so you've already got all of the articles down there and then match these to it. So essentially you want to do it as fast as you can. So just read through these. How's the process of doing that? 6, I think. And then I've written oh no, it's 5. That's really awkward. But I've written that on the back. So then you just match them together and put them as a pair there. And then say set number of states. I don't know what that one is. 3? Nope. 7. Oh, I've got that there. And then you just match them up.
And then establish the branch. Oh, that's 2, which I haven't got the 2 one out, so I'll just put that there. And then establish the legislative order. Oh, that is 1. And then if you want to check it, you can just literally come back, because then that's all I've done, like a brief description on the back, just in case I get completely stuck. Establishing the laws and treaties. No, thank you. 6, which I was going to have. That was a really bad example, because obviously I haven't
really done it yet. I literally made them about 2 days ago. That's a lie. I made them the last time I did revision, but still, which was Thursday, and it's now Wednesday. That's essentially how those work. Oh, ragging. That's the next thing. That's the one I forgot about and then I remembered and then I put it down. So essentially, ragging is actually proved to be quite helpful. Didn't realise it would, but I never used to like doing it because I was like, it's not going to help me. But then I was like, actually, it does. So essentially, you go through like a specification and you red, amber, green each little subtopic. So I show you here. This is all my red subjects for US politics. So I've put all of the like subtopics in like a box sort of thing. And then each of the topics within the subtopics, so like subtopics, who knows. You just go down those. No, don't. I've just written in. God, each thing that I need to do just to go over. So obviously this is the red stuff. So this is the stuff I need to go over most because I'm like, I don't know anything. And the way you do that, well, you can do it on a specification or you can get like a checklist like this, which our teacher kindly made for us. So this is my history one. As you can see, there's a lot of red on there, so that's not very good. But once you've done it, you can move up to amber or move up to green. I have actually done some of these, as you can see I've written in when I've done my revision there, but I just haven't coloured it in yet. But that's really helpful, and it's really helpful with exam questions as well. So if you get your teacher to write out a load of exam questions, you can red, amber, green, rag them, and then all the red ones you can go through or then ask your teacher to go through with you or whatever. We've done it for English and it's so helpful. And that just basically prepares you, because if the teacher thinks of every question they can that could possibly be asked, then you're bound to get one of those up. But if you can get all of your red or amber questions up to a green, or at least an amber, then you've got a better shot in the exam in the long run. I don't know what I was just doing. What was I saying? So yeah, obviously it's much more difficult now to do past paper questions because there's hardly any past papers, but your teachers have a rough idea of what the press questions could possibly be on, and you can base it off of that. A lot of things, so for example English, for the drama stuff, it'll either be a theme or a character pretty much throughout. It'll either be a theme or a character. Sometimes they'll do like a weird, like, contexty one. You're like, why are you doing this? Please go away. Like, how does Shakespeare present tragedy in Othello? And you're like, why would you do that to me? It's not fair. Oh, my stomach. I must be hungry. Mind you, I haven't really had anything to eat today. That's probably why. Ragging questions and ragging topics was really helpful to, I guess, focus revision and try and figure out when you need to do stuff and what's most important. But at the same time, you need to revise everything. That's why I kind of don't like the ragging of the subjects, but ragging of the questions is like vital, I would almost say, just because it makes it so much easier to make sure you have a decent chance in every single one of your exams. So, apart from that, I think that is all for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I'm thinking May half term I will put the history videos out if I make them by then, which hopefully I will. Hopefully I'll revise everything by then so I can make a video. But I don't know how much time I will have. Yep, so hopefully those videos will go out as soon as possible. Hopefully in May half term, if not before, but I very doubt it'll be before because I've got so much revision to do. I just procrastinated revising by doing a revision video because I'm normal. But yeah, apart from that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it / found it helpful. Yeah, I think that's it. Bye!